because this topic does not have to be triggering. And I'm telling you, the most empowering thing I ever did for myself in my own personal healing journey was when I chose to rewrite those limiting beliefs around money, when I chose to heal those beliefs that my ancestors had and that were held in my lineage for years, and releasing all of that, like doing like cutting the cord with all of that and rewriting those beliefs was the best thing I ever did for myself. And you're not gonna, like, you do the healing and you think you're gonna have this like come to Jesus like epiphany afterwards, but you really don't. You don't feel any different. I mean, I did it 3 times because after the second time I was like, did I really though? Did I heal it? Because you don't feel any different. But I promise you, you notice the difference when you are around other people.
Welcome to Next Level You podcast. I'm Stephanie Dingbaum, your host, your biggest cheerleader, and your go-to girlfriend for real, raw, and uplifting conversations about leveling up in life. As a mental health therapist with over a decade of experience and a business coach helping women elevate their lives and businesses, I'm here to guide you through the mindset shifts, holistic practices, and manifestation tools you need to step into your most authentic, next level self. Whether you're here to ignite your personal growth, elevate your professional game, or simply rediscover you, this podcast is your invitation to dream bigger, go after your goals, and unapologetically claim the life you deserve. So grab your favorite drink, get comfy, and let's dive in. It's time to up-level, manifest, and glow.
Hello. Stephanie Dingbaum here with Next Level You podcast. Welcome back, you guys. In today's collab, I have Megan Lampert here. And Megan is here to talk to you guys all about how to help you travel more using points from your credit cards, or the benefits and rewards from your credit cards. And so I just want to let you know this collab. So I first heard Megan talking on Maddie J's podcast, which is, good God, I just had it in my head.
Busy Getting Better
podcast. Thank you. And I heard her talking, and this was literally a topic, you guys, that I had never heard about before. And let me remind you, I'm in Eastern Iowa, and this isn't really something people talk about around here. And I mean, if we're being completely honest, I feel like my generation was the first generation to openly talk about spending more and what we make more. I mean, our parents' generation, that was like taboo. You don't talk about that. And so I feel like this really goes along with that. Like, we're starting to talk about these things more and more, and it's not taboo like it used to be. And so, like I said, I heard her talking on Maddie's podcast, and it just completely opened my eyes. One, because I have travel as a goal on my vision board. And I mean, I really started that in 2024, just wanting to incorporate at least 2, ideally 3, actually ideally 4. I would love to travel quarterly as a business owner. I give myself a full week off every quarter, and I would love for each of those to be like either a mini trip or a full week trip. And so hearing her speak, it was like, she is talking directly to me. Like, I am her ideal listener right now. And I didn't reach out to her, to be honest. She reached out to me. And I literally was like, this is perfect, because if you're truly trying to live as that next level version of yourself, then you need to hear Megan's message. You need to hear what she has to say. If you're specifically in like the Eastern Iowa area, if you're a local listener, I really feel like this is not something that is talked about in our area. So definitely, if this podcast episode resonates with you, definitely pass this on to friends and family, because I just feel like I said before, this is a message we need more people to know about. So Megan, I'm going to stop talking. Why don't you introduce yourself?
Yeah, no, thank you. I loved that intro. That was awesome. Hi, everyone. My name is Megan. I teach women how to travel and vacation for practically free using credit card points. Like she said, we were the typical family that could barely afford one vacation a year. We would save up our money every month, put it towards travel, book, like the cheapest flights, the cheapest hotel, stay at the Holiday Inn, and it just always felt so restrictive and just not that like life-giving abundance trip. We didn't like it. And so I was pregnant with my daughter. She was coming up, and my husband and me had sat down and talked about finances and kind of like what our goals were. And he said he wanted to be able one day to be able, like on a Friday afternoon, say like, hey, let's go to Disney this weekend, and just be able to do that. And
Yeah.
so at the time, we were like, okay, we got to make enough money to make that dream come true. And turns out it was travel points, which now allows us to take almost free vacations. And my daughter has been on multiple vacations, flown first class. She's only 2.5. And it really is something we started because of her, to give her a better life, to give her more experiences, like more family memories. My husband didn't get to fly for the first time until he was 18, and it was to go into the Marine Corps. And
Wow.
so his childhood looks so different than hers. And so it's something that we have just loved being able to do. And then everyone started asking us how we were able to take all these vacations. And so I kept telling people how to do it and teaching them. And my husband just goes, I think you really need to start a business around this and start teaching people.
Wow.
So
Oh,
that's kind of how it started. It was just a random thing. And that's how the business was born.
that's so cool. I love that it stems from, as I feel like most aligned businesses do, stems from something from our childhood. Like
Yes.
you just wanted something better for yourself and for your future family. And I love that. And how cool that your husband was like the nudger, like, let's do
Yeah.
this, let's do it. I love that. So cool. So your ideal customer, client, is somebody who wants to travel more, who's somebody who is like, we don't, we need more trips in our life. We need more travel in our life. That's your ideal customer client.
Yeah. Yeah. Whether you're that person that maybe takes that one trip like I did and you put money away every month, or I had a client reach out the other day and she was like, I haven't been on a vacation in 15 years and I want to
Oh,
make that happen. So, like, wherever you're at, you can go from 0 to 6 trips next year. Like, it's whatever you want for your life.
love that. Okay. So I want to get right into the juicy details. Like break this down. Like how do we, where do you start? Like, yeah, where do
Yeah.
you start? What's the best tip?
Yeah, so it's actually a lot simpler than you think. It's really just making a simple switch every day in the things you're already doing. So we're already buying gas and groceries and paying our bills. And instead of using that debit card, using a strategic credit card, there's tons of travel credit cards out there. My favorite one to start with is the Chase Sapphire Preferred Card. It's just a great flexible point card that allows you to book flights and hotels. And it's just a really easy beginner one. It's $95 annual fee. And just using that credit card for everything that you pay for. I haven't used my debit card in like 3 years. I don't use it unless I have to. I put everything on that credit card because when you buy your groceries and you swipe it and that's $150 right there you just spent, all you're getting from that is the groceries you bought. Whereas if you're using just a different piece of plastic, you're getting thousands of dollars worth of points towards your next vacation. You could take your next vacation for $12. Like, that's the reality of making this simple switch every day. And then it's just paying that credit card off in full every single month. We don't want to accumulate any debt. We don't want to accumulate any interest or late fees on that card. So being really financially responsible with it and having that mindset of when you swipe that credit card that this is the money in my bank account. I'm not spending anything that is outside of my family's budget. Sitting down and figuring out what your monthly budget is and sticking to that is really the key in this travel points hobby.
Okay, I love that because you answered my question. I was going to say, well, what about those people that are concerned about like debt and, people who maybe
Yeah.
are compulsive spenders? And I feel like I'm in such an aligned place in my life now that I budget more and I am
Mm-hmm.
very like routine now with my spending. And I actually feel like I can totally start doing this like tomorrow. So
Yeah.
this has me so excited. I love this idea of just that simple switch. Like, okay, I'm not going to use my debit card anymore for groceries. I did make the switch to gas in this last year because now my vehicle is considered a company vehicle because I of the private practice. And so I was like,
Mm-hmm.
well, that's an easy switch. So I
Yeah.
always use the credit card for that. But now the next like transition, so to speak, would just be now I'm going to use it for groceries too.
Yep.
I love
Absolutely
that.
everything. Just put the debit card in the back of the wallet and forget
Hmm.
about it.
Yeah, I really like that. Okay, that is such an easy tip, I feel like. So you mentioned like in an ideal world, you pay that credit card off in full every month. So
Mm-hmm.
then it's just like a fresh start the next month. You don't have to worry. The money's in the account. If you're routine with your spending, that shouldn't really be a big problem.
Mm-hmm.
So then what about for people who have multiple credit cards? What's your recommendation for that?
Yeah, so I always like to just use one at a time. I also have multiple credit cards. I have 13 credit cards in my wallet.
Okay.
So the whole point of this strategy is to earn what we call sign up bonuses. And the banks are incentivizing you to open up credit cards. And so when you first get a card, they'll say if you spend a certain amount of money in a certain time frame, it's usually like 4,000 in 3 months, somewhere around there, we're going to give you a large chunk of points, like 50 to 100,000 points. And so I'm always accumulating a large amount of points. That way, instead of spending, let's say, $30,000 all throughout the year and getting maybe 30,000 points, I just got 60,000 points by only spending $4,000. And so the newest card that I've opened is the one that I just use all the time for my everyday stuff. And that way you don't have to keep track going back and forth between which credit card should I use for gas? Which one should I be using for that? And it makes paying those credit cards off every single month a lot easier. So you're not going and making multiple payments on a bunch of different cards.
Okay. So you said you have 13 cards, but you're really only using one a month?
Yeah, one at a time. The one that I just previously opened, because I'm a little crazy and I open up a new card every 3 months.
Yeah, no, that's what you mentioned in the podcast I listened to, was like that's what you do. Like that helps you.
Mm-hmm.
So then you're not, because in my mind, I'm like, okay, so I'm in the point with my coaching business where I'm applying for credit cards.
Mm-hmm.
And in my mind, like, oh, I can just start with the bank card that my bank just automatically gives you. And then, well, I want a Chase card. But in my mind, I'm like, well, once I get the Chase card, then I'll just cut up the bank card because I'm not going to use it. But you're saying like it's actually okay to hold on to them? Like it's good to hold on to them?
Yeah, so you definitely want to hold on to any credit card you have for at least a year after you open it, because if you close it down before that year, it's actually going to hurt your credit score. So you always want to keep them open at least a year. And keeping open your oldest credit card is actually going to really help with your credit score as well. So like if you have a credit card you opened when you're in high school or something, that's actually really good to keep open for that credit history. But for the most part, like I said, I have 13 cards. My husband has 13 cards, and we haven't closed any of our cards in the last 3 years because they are still giving us benefits. We will still use them once in a while just to like keep them active. A lot of these cards are going to give you like free hotel night certificates every year on your anniversary, or they're going to give you bonus points. They may give you like airline status. There's a lot of different perks that every single year we're using, and they're still accumulating points for us. And so they're beneficial for us to keep them open. The only time I would consider like closing a card is more on like the high annual fee cards. Like if you had an American Express Platinum, it's $700 a year. And you're like, well, I'm not really using the benefits. It's not giving me my money back. Then that would be a good time to maybe close that card.
Sure. Okay. So keep them all open, just like hide them away in your wallet because you're really only using the one you most recently applied for.
Yeah, I put most of, like, for my husband, because he doesn't know which one to use at the time, I'll put all of his old ones, like, in the drawer and say, here's the card you should use. And then in my wallet, like, I'll keep a couple in there, like, if we're traveling or something, just to have all the different ones just in case. But like I said, really working on one card at a time.
Okay, I love that. Yeah, that really, in my mind, like, just, I thought I was being logical and thinking, okay, well, yeah, I'll start with the bank card because it's just the easiest one to get right out of the gate. But then once I get the preferred card that I actually want, I was just going to cut that one up because, like, why just have a credit card sitting around, you know? I mean, in today's world, I'm always like, I just don't want someone to steal it, or, you know what I mean? Like, sitting around the house or something. But it actually, even if you're not using it, it's still accruing points.
So it will depend on the card because everyone's a little bit different. Okay. But like a lot of the hotel cards that you get free night certificates on and stuff, you don't have to spend anything on that, and it will just hit once your annual fee hits every single year.
Wow. Okay. I did not realize that. Nice. Yeah. Okay. So I'm just wondering, what's the easiest, how do you redeem these points, or what does that process look like?
Yeah. So the biggest mistake I see people making is there's 4 major banks with credit card points: Chase, Citi, Capital One, and American Express. And these are all what we call flexible point cards, and they allow you to transfer points out to their partners, which are hotels and airlines. So like Marriott, Hilton, Delta, United. And a lot of people will use their points within the bank's travel portal. So if you logged on to your Chase account, it would say, here's your points. You can book in the travel portal. And so you see that first thing. And so everybody likes to use that because they think that's the way to use your points. Mm-hmm. But there's actually a hidden tab that says transfer your points. And you can transfer them out to those hotel and airline partners. Every bank has different partners that you can use. And you can actually double to triple your value of points when you transfer them out. So let's say you had like $700 worth of Chase points that you could use in that travel portal. If I transferred them out to like Hyatt Hotels and Southwest Airlines, I could turn that $700 into like $2,000 to $3,000 very easily. And so you can take more trips with those points and really maximize on more like luxury vacations and things. And so that is the number one way I always recommend using your points.
That is amazing. Wow. I mean, like, this is not common knowledge. So
no, the banks hide this.
Mm-hmm. I bet they do. Yeah. How did you even learn about this stuff? Was it just like happenstance, or did you just really do your research, or?
Yeah, so I really did my research. We had like a cashback credit card, and I thought that was like travel hacking, and I thought this was genius. Yeah. And then I came upon something that said something about travel points, and I was like, oh, and I started doing my research, and I was like, this is genius. So I've taken an online course, listened to podcasts, like I've done so much research on this, and then just a lot of trial and error. Like I've been doing this for 4 years now, and I've made mistakes and stuff, but really using the points and learning was the best way for me to get knowledge on it.
Absolutely. Just like anything else. Yeah. Okay. So you've been doing this for 4 years. Tell me, like, share in your life, like, how has this benefited you? Like, not only are you practicing it in real life, but you're coaching people on it. So how has it benefited you in your travel goals?
Yeah. It's allowed us to dream so much bigger. Like there really is no destination that's off limits. And that's what I love, like with my clients, because they come in with like this fixed mindset of like, we want to go on a cheap honeymoon. Like, can we go to the Caribbean or like Mexico where it's cheap? And I'm like, you can go to Greece, you can go to Italy, like you can go wherever you want for less than $500. And so just being able to plan some of these like really big, extravagant trips. I've helped clients fly like first class to Italy for $10 in 3 months of working together. We got to fly first class this year with my daughter down to Puerto Vallarta and stay in an all-inclusive resort for $0, like right on the beach. She got to release sea turtles. Like there's just been so many memories made. And that's like the biggest perk that's come with this.
That's so amazing. And you really cannot put a price tag on those travel opportunities, especially when your kids get to be a part of it. Oh my gosh, I love that. Hey there, listeners. Are you ready to elevate your mindset and manifest your goals? If you're a female entrepreneur or someone who's been dreaming of starting your own business, I have something so exciting to share with you. I'm Stephanie Dingbaum, and I've just launched my 12-week coaching program, the Up-Level Method. It is designed to help you gain clarity, build confidence, and create the soul-aligned business and life that you've been dreaming of. So here's what you'll all get in the program. Weekly one-on-one coaching calls tailored specifically to meet your goals. Voxer access for real-time support and accountability throughout the week from me. Customized tools like journal prompts, meditations, and follow-up emails to keep you aligned and on track throughout the week. Plus, guidance to overcome imposter syndrome, rewrite limiting beliefs, and shift into an abundance mindset. The Up-Level Method isn't just about checking off goals. It's about helping you step into your power as a CEO, make decisions that light you up, and build a business that feels truly authentic to who you are. And the best part? The current pricing is literally the lowest that it will ever be. If you're even slightly considering it, lock it in now, because this investment in your future self will pay off tenfold, I promise you. Payment plans are available, so don't let finances hold you back from stepping into your best self. This is your chance to stop second guessing and start showing up for your business and life with purpose and intention. If this feels aligned, DM or email me today to set up a free clarity call. Let's see if the Up-Level Method is the right fit for you. All the details are in the show notes. This is your time. Let's make 2025 the year you up-level everything. Are there any misconceptions that people have when it comes to travel points or rewards from cards?
Yeah, the biggest thing I see, and you're probably thinking this right now, like, won't this affect my credit score? This is going to tank my credit score if you open all of these credit cards. We, like you said, grew up in a generation where we didn't talk about money. My parents always like credit cards equal debt. They're bad. And so when you're doing this responsibly, it will actually increase your credit score significantly. Me and my husband both have an 800 plus credit score. He's actually improved his credit score 100 points in the last 2 years because of opening all these credit cards. And so when it's done responsibly, it's actually a huge benefit to your credit score, and there's no downside at all.
I love that. Okay, that's amazing. I know our credit score is important, but like I don't really think about it all that often up until like what recently, because I've been applying for credit cards. I'm like, ooh, I should check and see what mine is. And I mean, because otherwise it doesn't, come into conversation in everyday world. So that's good to know though. I wasn't even thinking about that, but that is something that I'm sure listeners are thinking about. That's helpful. Is there I know you mentioned the Chase Sapphire preferred card. Are there any other cards that you would recommend as far as like the biggest bang for your buck?
Yeah, so I like the Chase ones to start with just because they're really beginner friendly. But another one of my favorites that I think everyone should have in their wallet is the Capital One Venture cards. There's a Venture and a Venture X. You can choose either one. But these are really great cards for flexible points as well. There's a really good hack with Capital One that actually will allow you to pay for any travel purchase. So you can buy Disneyland tickets, you can buy your cruise ship tickets, Airbnb rentals. Like there's a lot of really like strategic things you can do with Capital One points. So those are another one that I would recommend starting with as well.
Okay, awesome. Wow, that's good to know. For someone who's maybe brand new to this and maybe they don't have the greatest like money mindset, what advice would you have for them if, like for me, I really didn't grow up with any knowledge on credit cards until I was in college and got my first credit card. And I think in this area, like that can be a very common thing, but any advice for somebody who's just brand new to this world? I mean, obviously, just start by applying for a card to begin with. But besides that, any advice for somebody who's new to this?
Yeah, I would definitely sit down and look at your family's monthly budget, whether that's you or your spouse. Download a budget app. Like I use the Buddy app. It's free, and just tracking like what you're spending on groceries and gas and all of those categories, and just making sure first that you can stick to a budget and you're not going to go crazy. Once you feel comfortable opening up a credit card and maybe you're still a little hesitant, I always recommend once you get that credit card, let's just say you got a credit card and they gave you a credit limit of like $5,000 and you're thinking, I don't trust myself. You can actually call the bank and ask them to create a credit limit that you're appropriate with. So like if you wanted $1,000, you could ask them to lower your credit limit so that you're not going to go below $5,000. And then maybe just start out with like one category. Say like, I'm just going to put my gas on this card and pay that off every single month. And then once I feel like I'm comfortable with that and I can do that, maybe let's add on groceries and then work your way up to spending everything on that credit card, and just start with one category and stick to that until you can trust yourself. So I think that's a great place to start if you're someone in that position.
I agree. That's smart. Because I feel like I have just organically done that in my own life. So I agree. I think that's very smart. What just automatically comes to mind as you're talking is like a lot of people have very limiting beliefs in the area of money and spending. And this episode could be really triggering for some people.
Yeah.
I mean, I've done a lot of work on my mindset around money, a lot of healing those limiting beliefs, cutting the cord with some ancestral, I don't even know what to call it, habits around spending and money. And so I feel like I'm in a really good place. But for people who have not done that work, this can be a really touchy subject and really triggering. And if you're open to doing the work, obviously, like you need to go in, you need to ask yourself, like, what are the beliefs I hold on to around money? Did you find even in your own journey that Like, did you do the work around money mindset? Because I just imagine like you almost have to when you're up
Hmm.
leveling financially, and not even that, but through additional travel. Like, I just feel like that's an up level within itself.
Yeah.
But that, I feel like that's had to be a part of your journey, even if it was just like organically a part of your journey and maybe you weren't like consciously thinking about it. Did you
Yeah.
go through anything with that?
A lot of things came out of it because like we started with that, and my parents to this day have a ton of credit card debt. They've always just been really irresponsible with money, and so that was like a limiting thought of me that that's what I was going to do. And so yeah, a lot of money
Mm-hmm.
mindset. And it was funny, like now that we've done this just within like the last year, now we're opening up high yield savings accounts for us, for my daughter. We're getting into more like stocks and investments. And like we have just grown all these different things as like a result of it, even though it wasn't like consciously where we were going. It just was
Mm-hmm.
kind of a side thing that came out of it. And so it really has sculpted our money mindset, and it's going to make such a huge difference on our daughter. And so like if you're listening and you have kids, especially older kids, you can start adding them as an authorized user on your cards now to help them build their credit, and they could have a credit card, and you could already start shaping your teenagers and say, hey, put gas on this every single month and pay it off, so they start building that money mindset. So by the time they're 18, they can already open this credit card and start traveling for free at age 18. Like it's going to completely
Wow.
change our kids' lives by what we're doing right now.
Yeah, I love that. And I mean, you're normalizing for kids like
Yeah.
just consistent travel, which I think is so cool. You know, for us growing up in the Midwest, it was like one vacation a year was just the norm. And even that
Yeah.
vacation, like we weren't flying, we were
And it was a
typically
road trip.
driving. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, we were just driving to a nearby state
Yeah.
or something within the state of Iowa. And so yeah, to normalize for your kids that like it can be a normal thing to go on multiple vacations a year and not break
Mhm.
the bank doing so.
Yeah.
I
And it
love
changes
that.
your mindset too, traveling. Like, I remember the first time that we stayed at like a luxury 5-star resort, and you
Yeah.
like walk in, we're like, oh my gosh, we don't belong here. Like, you just felt kind of, and now it's like we walk in and we're like, oh yeah, we're part of like the 5-star crowd. And it changes your
Yeah.
mindset, like up leveling that kind
Yep.
of thought also.
Absolutely. Yeah. Oh, I love that. So we're going to, my husband and I are flying out to LA in the beginning of March for a business trip, and going to a retreat that my business coach is hosting. And I'm getting new branding photos done while I'm out there. And I
Ooh.
didn't want to stay anywhere near where the fires were because I'm just
Hmm.
like, that whole event just really tugged at my heart. I'm empathic, and it just like, it really hit me in a weird way. And so I'm like, I don't want to be near that area. I don't want to see it. I don't want to
Yeah.
even like be amongst that air. Like we're staying somewhere south LA. And
Yeah.
so I was like, oh, I really want to be on the coast. My picture is going to be on the beach. So it just makes the most sense. And then I was like, oh my gosh, the teenage girl in me would be so jealous if we stayed in Laguna Beach. Like
Right.
the teenage girl in me would be like, OMG, look at the life you're living. And so I did it. I was like, we're going to stay on the coast. We're going to stay on a hotel right on the coast there. I literally, so like I said, I've done the money mindset work, but
Hmm.
still recognize when I was reserving that hotel, there was still a part of me that was like, can you do this though? You know,
Right.
just like,
Yeah.
of course you can. And I can afford it. The business can afford it. But there was still like, just when
Yeah.
you think you've done that money mindset work, sometimes you get that little like, oh, can
Comes back
I?
up.
Yeah. Yeah. And so it's so cool to hear you say that because there's so much power behind even like being in a 5-star resort, being
Hmm.
amongst those people that are at that level, that can be so up leveling just to be amongst their energy,
Yeah. a
you
hundred
know?
percent.
Yeah. And I'm sure you guys also, so in using your points, have you done like upgrading yourselves even on the flights and stuff like that too?
Yeah, so we just kind of started doing some of the like first class, business class seats since my
Yeah.
daughter's getting a little bit older now.
Hmm.
And so we did it for the first time this last year, and we were sitting
Oh,
next to a lady whose husband was back in economy. And so she was saying like they couldn't afford 2 seats. And so my husband was
oh,
like telling her all about travel points, which was really funny. But we've
wow.
gotten some really amazing upgrades in just like the hotels. So like we were already staying at these really nice resorts, and then we have been upgraded to like $1,000 to $2,000 a night rooms that have their own like plunge pool, their own hot tub on the balcony over the ocean. Like we've stayed in some really nice rooms and being upgraded that way for completely free. And so there's just a lot of things that points and these little tricks and tips can really do to, like you said, elevate that travel experience and just make it so much better.
I love that. Wow. Okay. One question that comes up, and I wasn't planning on asking this, but just hearing you talk, kind of like this download came to me of, I'm a multi-business owner. So I have my private practice that I own. I have my coaching business that I own. And then besides that, I have my personal credit cards. What advice, for multi-business owners who have multiple credit cards? I mean, you listed off like these cards that you recommend. It would really make the most sense. Yeah, personally, I'm going to have those cards, but could you even do that in your business? I mean, the business could accrue multiple credit cards. You're still only living by it's only using the one at a time, but that's a way I could incorporate more cards to get those bonuses, is letting the business apply for a new card, whether I do the every 3-month thing that you mentioned, or even just like annually or biannually or whatever, right? The business could do that too. Okay. That's so
the business is a secret tool that everyone should be using. Whether you sell something on Facebook Marketplace or the farmer's market, something very simple can allow you to open up a business credit card.
Right.
And the business credit cards are great because a lot of the times they have higher sign-up annual fees or sign-up bonuses, and $0 annual fees. So they actually will give you more points for less amount of money. So like I said, I have 13 credit cards. My husband has 13 credit cards. That's between personal and business cards. So it's not 13 personal cards.
Right.
He has a business. I have a small business, and then we have a family ranch. So we actually will open up the same credit card for every single business. And so we'll duplicate that. And then you can combine all of those points together on your personal cards. So your business is essentially making money and earning points for you to personally take vacations. So it's a complete win.
That's amazing. Wow. Okay. That's very impressive to hear. I love the idea of utilizing, having the business take advantage of that too. So it's not just and
it can help your business too. Like you were just saying, you're going to LA for a mastermind or a retreat. Yep. And so us as business owners, we're always wanting to go to retreats or conferences, in-person podcasts, those types of things. And so we're thinking, is paying for that worth the investment that I'm going to get? And if you have the travel points, you can book that hotel and those flights for almost free. And so it makes it a no-brainer to go to more of these functions to up-level your business as well.
Okay, that's so helpful because I'm also doing a business trip in August to the Powerhouse Women Conference in Scottsdale.
Oh, yeah.
And so it's before I even reserve that hotel, I should definitely look at my points for all the credit cards and see if I can stay for free.
Yeah, 100%.
Oh, amazing. Okay. This is so timely for my life personally. I'm sure you're helping listeners too. Don't get me wrong, but I'm this is more for me selfishly. So that's helpful. Love it. Okay. What's your take on airline or hotel loyalty programs? Do you have any inside knowledge on that?
Yeah. So with those flexible point cards, you're going to have an account with the hotel or the airline to be able to transfer the points. So having those Hyatt accounts, Marriott things are great. They're free. You sign up and get them. But having those co-branded cards that are specifically going to earn Marriott points or Hyatt, having that Hyatt credit card, those things I only recommend doing if you are a very true loyalist to, especially the airlines. If you only fly Delta, then it's going to definitely make sense for you to open up some Delta cards because you're going to get free bags and status and, all those kinds of things. But I like the flexible point cards just because you don't have to be boxed into something. You can decide if you want to use them on Southwest or United or your hotel. And then the hotel cards, they actually do have really good perks. Like I said, a lot of the times you get free night certificates. Hilton is a notoriously good one for giving free night certificates that can be used at any hotel. So you can stay in Bora Bora in a room that would cost $2,000 a night with a free night certificate. So there's just some cards that give you really good benefits. And it comes down to if you're going to use them right. But I always like to start with those flexible points when you're starting out in your journey, kind of figuring that out before you know maybe where you want to keep your loyalty to.
Yeah, absolutely. I like that. I switched last year to an Allegiant credit card for me personally, because I figured like, I keep putting travel on my vision boards. More travel is a part of my personal goals, professional goals as well. And I just thought like it just made the most sense to have a card that can support that goal, right?
Yeah.
And we have Allegiant is very convenient for us where we're located. And we just love the direct flight option that Allegiant gives, And so that really was in line. I would love to ideally go to Florida once a year. So Allegiant is the perfect option for that. And
we love Florida.
Mesa. So same. Yeah. And so it just made the most sense, right? But like, there's some cards that can definitely box you in. For some people, Allegiant might not be ideal. So that card doesn't really make sense.
Yeah.
But it
depends on where you're at, where you want to go, how big your family is. Like there's a lot of factors that determine where you want to stay and what cards you should get.
Okay. Does the time of year impact any of this? Like, is there a time of year that's best in terms of like applying for a credit card or anything like that?
No, there's not really any like specific times. Again, it's like destination specific. So like if you're trying to go to Europe in the summer when everyone else is going, or Australia in the winter, like just knowing those times, like the price and points, just like cash might be a little bit more. But other than that, it's whenever you want to book your vacations.
Okay. Awesome. Okay. And the other question I have is for you personally, Megan, like what was the one trip in the 4 years since you've been doing this? Like what was the one trip that you were like, we freaking did it. Like we saved the most, we spent the least, we're truly living our like next level lifestyle. Like what was the one trip that was like, we made it?
It actually was just about a month ago. We went to Hawaii. We've been to Hawaii before, but we actually were able to take my husband's entire family. So we took his mom and his 3 brothers. They had never been on a family vacation. They're all adults. My husband's 40. And so we were able to take all of them almost on points. We did pay some cash, but we put them up in like a suite right on the ocean. We stayed at a really, really nice resort, flew everybody over there and stayed for a whole weekend. And it was just like, that was like that moment, like, oh my gosh, like, we didn't just do it for like us. We did it for everybody. And it was just kind of a pinch me moment.
What a neat way of giving back. And that's so amazing. I just think that would be so cool to be able to give back to your family in that way.
Yeah. It was a really great Christmas.
Oh, I bet. Yeah. I just think that within itself is worth doing, like getting into this, like practicing this consistently. Just the idea of like, if I could give back to my mom or my sister and that's so meaningful. And not to even mention just like the memories you're making, but just knowing like the opportunities you're giving them that they might not have gotten otherwise.
Yeah. And it can be simple stuff. Like it doesn't have to be all these luxury trips. Like my sister lives on the other side of the country in South Carolina. And so I've gotten to see her so many more times and go on like vacations with her and say like, hey, if you fly to Tennessee, like I'll get the hotel or whatever. And so like being able to spend more time with her has been really special too.
Oh yeah, I agree. We have family like in San Diego and, we're always like, yeah, if we make it out there, we'll definitely see you, and it's just not always that feasible. You know? And so. Yeah,
flights are expensive.
Right. Absolutely. But they don't have to be. I mean, like, I don't think it doesn't have to be this like, oh, I have to spend money to do it. Like I choose to look at the world through an abundance mindset. And so there is no lack. Like you can find it if you just know where to look. And you've literally made looking into a business. So
let your money make money.
Yeah, exactly. I love that. And truly, I just want to add for listeners, if this is triggering, really, really, really dig into your subconscious. Just really ask yourself, like, what are the beliefs that I'm holding on to around money? Because this topic does not have to be triggering. And I'm telling you, the most empowering thing I ever did for myself in my own personal healing journey was when I chose to rewrite those limiting beliefs around money, when I chose to heal those beliefs that my ancestors had and that were held in my lineage for years, and releasing all of that, like doing like cutting the cord with all of that and rewriting those beliefs was the best thing I ever did for myself. And you're not gonna like, you do the healing and you think you're gonna have this like come to Jesus like epiphany afterwards, but you really don't. You don't feel any different. I mean, I did it 3 times because after the second time I was like, did I really though? Did I heal it? Because you don't feel any different. But I promise you, you notice the difference when you are around other people and you hear, it used to be super common when we would get together with friends for the topic of money to come up because we do talk about it. We are more comfortable talking about it. Our generation is anyways. And,
Yeah.
Somebody might say something like, about somebody who's living a lavish lifestyle around here. Like, oh, must be nice.
Yeah.
And in my head,
All the time.
yeah, I bet. But in my head, I'm instantly now like, yeah, no, actually good for them though. Seriously.
Yeah.
Like it's proof that if they made it, we can make it,
Right.
I don't judge them anymore. And the old me would have been like, yeah, it must be nice. Like I would have just joined right in.
Yeah. Same. Exact same.
Yeah. So I just want listeners to hear, like, just do that inner work because the future you will thank you for it tenfold. I mean,
yes. Yeah.
I never thought I'd be a person who can take 4 trips a year, but like I'm getting so close. Like she's probably a year away from that. Like I'm going to make it happen. It's going to be my lived reality. I'm telling you that.
Yes.
So you can do it too. Literally, if there's people in your life that are living this lifestyle, it's just proof that if they can do it, you can do it. There's an abundance of money out there. You just have to know where to look. And if this topic specifically is like, I want to know more about this, check Megan out on Instagram. I'll put her information in the show notes, her Instagram page even. Like your posts, Megan, are amazing. And first of all, I love your branding. I love your branding.
Oh, thank you.
The colors, like it's so attractive to me. So yeah, you put out great information. And then besides your Instagram, people will need to listen to your podcast too, because I just recently started following your podcast and that's really helpful too.
Yeah, that'll give you step-by-step kind of where you need to go and all the ins and outs of everything. So yeah, listen over at Points to Paradise.
Yeah, I'll put the link to it in the show notes. But her podcast is really helpful. I mean, truth be told, I have so many podcasts in my library, but I just kind of listen based on what my mood is for the day. And so I would say once a week I'm tuning into Megan, but I'm also playing catch up. I mean, I'm really behind. So.
Yeah, there's like 50 something on there. So
yeah. Have you been doing it for a full year?
Yeah. So this month is a full year of the podcast. So
awesome. Congrats.
Yeah, I know. I'm so excited. I love it.
And share your goal with listeners, your goal for 2025.
Yeah, so I have a big business goal. I obviously love talking about travel points with people and sharing it with people who don't know. So my goal is to get on 120 other podcasts this year while doing my own podcast, so I can share more of this with the world.
Love it. So if you're a listener and you have a podcast, reach out to Megan. I feel like there's so many different niches of podcasts that you can go on. Like it made the most sense when I was listening to you on Maddie's podcast because I was like, oh, this is perfect for money mindset.
Yeah.
But there's so many podcasts you can relate this topic to. Yeah.
Yeah. Mama's business, money, all kinds of different things.
Exactly. Love that. Awesome. Well, I like to end all of my podcasts with some rapid fire questions. But before we get into that, is there anything else that you want listeners to know before we wrap things up?
No, just make that simple switch every day in your life. Go get that Chase Sapphire Preferred or whatever credit card you want to start earning points. You can literally get off this podcast right now, go fill out an application and have your card in a week and start earning points. And then come follow me, join me. I'd love to see you inside the Travel Points Academy and we can start planning your next vacation with those points that you're earning.
Love it. Yeah. So you do offer coaching, right?
Yeah. So if you're someone who's like doesn't know where to start, the Travel Points Academy is a great place to join. I help you actually use your points, plan your next vacation, look up flights for you, all that stuff while walking you through how it works. And then for people, I learned there's like 70% of people who already have credit card points but don't know how to use them and they're just sitting there.
That used to be me. So
there's a lot of people. So if you are that person, I do one-on-one coaching to help you actually use your points and we can book your flights and vacations together and all that kind of stuff and get those points used the right way so that you can take a luxury vacation.
I love it. Love it. I seriously, in my mind, I'm like, she's like a travel agent, but like bumped up a level. Like,
a little bit of both.
Yeah. Love that. Awesome. Well, I do like to end all of my collabs with rapid fire questions. So
let's do it.
All right. What's a small habit or ritual that makes you feel like that next level version of yourself?
Ooh, it's kind of hard to not say travel points.
I know. I'm like, I already know the answer.
Yeah, using credit card points. But another one is just I do gratitude every single morning, and that one's just a really good one. Like I just do 5 things I say, like thank God for them, and just start my day every day like that. I really like to do that.
Okay, love it. You are preaching to the choir. I do gratitude every day as well. My gratitude is 17 minutes long.
Oh wow, yeah, mine's not
Yeah,
that long.
it's gotten out of control, but future gratitude has become a hack. Like
Mm.
I have manifested things because of doing daily future gratitude.
Ooh, I've never heard that.
Like I'm just literally like saying I just took my goals, like things I want to manifest in my life, put them in form of, first I did it as affirmations and I was doing those daily. And then through a Reiki session, she was like, you need to be doing gratitude. Gratitude is more important. So then I switched my affirmations into gratitude. And it's
Ooh,
like, I literally think the success of my businesses is in large part because of my daily gratitude
ooh,
practice.
I like that
So
because
yeah,
I'm not
I
a
do
big
a mixture.
affirmation person, so I like that.
Same. Yeah. And I do a mixture of affirmations and gratitude. Some are present tense, some are future tense, but like, with just starting the coaching business, like I'm telling myself I am full with 6 coaching clients and that's not happening yet. But the point is like the way our brains work, it's going to
Hmm.
put you in opportunities to make that your lived reality. And so
Yeah.
yeah, I owe a lot to gratitude. I love that you said that. Awesome. Okay. Next one is if you could manifest one dream instantly, what would it be?
Ooh, one dream. Oh, that's hard. I really want a private jet.
Love. Love.
Me
So
and my
someday you'll
husband
have a
have that
hangar.
goal of just being able to get on our jet and go and not have to fly Southwest Airlines.
I don't blame you. I love that. I feel like that's not too far off for you. I mean, I feel like you can make that
It's
happen.
happening.
Oh. Who is somebody who inspires you to be your most authentic self?
Probably Jesus.
Beautiful. Love that you're a believer. Yeah. What is a dream destination that's on your vision board right now? Or if you don't have a vision board, like what's just a dream destination for you?
So the one that's on my vision board that's going to happen this year is Tulum, Mexico. I want to stay down the jungle, but like long term, really want to go to Greece.
Love. Greece is mine too. Yep.
Nice.
Love
It's
it.
so pretty.
Yes, it is. I actually have a very good friend who has an uncle that moved out of America. Him and his wife moved into Greece, and
Ooh,
I actually have a connection now. And I'm like, so it's
ooh,
actually not that far off.
nice.
I'm like, okay, we can probably manifest this like within the next year. Love that. Okay, last one. What is one thing that you're currently working on manifesting in your life?
What am I currently manifesting? Probably like what you just said, more clients. So I really
Mhm.
like my Travel Points Academy. I love it, but it's more of like at your own pace type of thing, and I help you when
Right,
needed. So
right.
I really like the one-on-one coaching and really
Hmm.
getting personal and planning and looking up your vacations and stuff. And so I am trying to manifest more of those one-on-one clients.
I love that. I definitely think you'll get some from this episode. I'm sure I'm going to use you in the future, so I will probably be one of them. I yeah, I get it. I love since starting the coaching business in January, it's soul aligned. It's
Hmm.
so fulfilling and
Yes.
it's just exciting seeing people's dreams come true and you in the form of travel. Like it's so exciting
I know. I
seeing
love seeing clients send pictures of like them sipping champagne on the plane and just like,
yeah,
oh,
I agree. I love
that's what I
it.
live
So
for.
fulfilling. Awesome. Well, Megan, thank you so much for coming to me and pitching to me. I'm starting to do that, so I know how I feel intimidating it can be sometimes, but thank you for trusting your gut and doing it and coming on here. This is a topic that listeners need to hear about. And like I said in the beginning, I just feel like it's not talked about enough. So thank you for being willing to educate my listeners and me personally, because
Well,
selfishly I was like, I can't wait to learn from her. So thank
well,
you
thanks
so
for
much
having
for
me. I
coming.
appreciate it.
Yeah. All right, guys. Like I said before, if any of the episode really resonates with you, please share today's episode with a friend or take a screenshot and put it on your social media story. It all really helps. And then if you haven't already, please rate and review the podcast. It just helps to get it out to more listeners. So have a great rest of your week, guys. And I will talk to you next week.
Real quick before you go, I just want to thank you so much for spending a little time with me today. And congratulations on showing up for you. Every step you take to invest in yourself brings you that much closer to your next level self, and I'm so proud of you. If you loved this episode, share it with someone who could use a little inspiration, or take a screenshot and tag me on socials so we can keep spreading the next level you energy. Thanks again for tuning in, and I can't wait to see you in the next episode. Let's freaking go!